Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a little bit of Memories for Sale by the great Jan Howard. And now it's an honor to welcome to the program someone I've known for probably, I don't know, close to a decade now. She's become a very good friend to me. The lady from Little Rock, well, not really from Little Rock, but she's rocked us back there many times. Grand Ole Opry star Jan Howard. Jan, can you hear me okay?
I can, Paul. Nice to hear from you. Thank you.
Oh, well,
Thank you. That song you were playing, Memories for Sale, there was a lady that used to, whoops, let me turn, I've got to turn another phone off.
No, that's all right.
That's all right, I'll just let it ring. I'll move the phone into another room, so it can ring all it wants to. There was a lady that used to sing backup on the Opry, sometimes with Carol Lee and the group. Her name was Laverna Moore. And she requested this song so many times. She loved it, but I only sang it just a few times.
Well, it's certainly a great recording. I believe it was off of the, I think it was around 1981 or so that you recorded an album for Pete Drake's record company.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't happy with a whole lot of that, but
well, I thought
some of them were pretty good.
Well, I think you're a little too hard on yourself. I really like, my favorite one is Life of a Country Girl Singer.
Oh, gosh, I wrote that.
Yeah, I think the last time when you were on my show, you told me that you had written it, but we didn't really get a chance to talk about it too much. So is that pretty much your experiences put into a song?
Well, I guess, yeah. I wrote it. I was in England with Tammy out there because I worked with Tammy for a couple of years. But anyway, I was in England. I wrote that in about 10 minutes one Sunday afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Several of my things. I don't know what. Evidently, I'm not doing very much on Sunday afternoon because I wrote a lot of songs in that in that period of time.
Well, yeah.
You know, it's just a cute song. And what was funny recently, a while back, I was at the Opry and Pam Tellis came up and she said, "Do you know anything about a song called Life of a Country Girl Singer?" And I said, "Yeah, I wrote it." And she said, "Oh God, I didn't know that." She said she and Pam, Laurie Morgan, they do the show together.
Well, I know they recorded a new album together recently. I saw them on Mike Huckabee's show.
Oh, well, I think they're great. They're wonderful. To finish what I was starting to say, I think they were thinking about doing it, but then they passed on it, and I certainly understand that. But it's just cute.
Well, I don't understand it because it's a great song, and I think it would have been fun to have two people singing on it. But I know they must have had a lot of songs, so we'll give them a pass, I guess.
They do, but maybe they thought, it was kind of passé anyway at that time. But it was cute when she said, "Do you know anything about it?"
Yeah, it certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty ironic. It certainly fit the time where. Male country singers, they were just considered country singers, but if you had a girl singer, it was, and I know we've talked about this before, but it was...
Yeah, they were just a girl singer with the band, really.
Yeah.
I don't care what prestige they gained and everything, they were still the girl singer with the band. And so that's kind of where I was at this stage when I wrote that song.
And some of the... I watch a lot of big fan of country music, traditional country, and I watch a lot of the old video clips on YouTube and some of the introductions. But this cute little girl here in the dress,
God.
And some of the hosts are, they're like hanging right on to the women. I mean, so much misogyny,
It's really awful. I think I'll give Jeannie Seeley credit for this, but I feel the same way. I think she asked somebody one time. She said, "How would you feel if we went out there and we were hosting and went out there and said, 'Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce this cute little guy that wears these cute little pretty little suits with all the rhinestones on them and everything and all that stuff.' You wouldn't like it, Oh. No, they wouldn't. So I don't know. It's certain ones that did that more than others, but they didn't really mean that was just the times. That was the times, You had to grow, but it certainly isn't done that now.
No, I don't know what would happen.
Yeah, neither are the songs. Their songs are so much different. At that time, it was like, you know, do whatever you want to and come on back, and that's okay, honey. I'll, you know, not anymore. Because I recorded a song. Gosh, I can't remember, but it was for an album. Oh, Get Your Lie the Way You Want It and Come On Home.
Okay.
That was recorded by Bonnie Guitar, I think. Now I'm really going back, and in Los Angeles, I think she was from out there. And right in the middle of the recording, and Bradley came out of the studio laughing. And, of course, I stopped singing, and I said, what are you laughing about? And he said, because there's no way I can imagine you telling somebody, get your life the way you want it and come on home. And I said, you're absolutely right. But that's the way a lot of the songs were written then.
Well,
and I recorded a lot of them.
And I don't remember the exact situation, but I think you were on tour with Farron Young, Buck Owens, and maybe George Jones, and you were all in the bus. And I always like to ask about a Farron story whenever I have a guest on. And you might know what I'm leading up to here, but
I do.
I think Farron made a comment about someone, a woman that was walking by outside the window. But
yeah.
I'll let you take it away from here because you remember it better than I do because you lived it.
Well, okay. I'll say what Farron said. Anyway, Buck and George and I were just sitting back singing harmony to one of Buck's middle songs, and Farron was at the front of the bus, and yes, he was making remarks to every female that we passed, and Buck and George said, just ignore him, yeah, all right. And so pretty soon, and I liked Farron, but I'd never seen that side of him, and because I was really fairly new in the business, and even though I knew George and Buck very well because we were friends from California days, and so Farron came walking back there, and he said, "What would you say if I said that to you?" And looking, pointing to me, looking at me, and George said, "No, yeah." And I when he said that, "What would you do if I said that to you?" I said, "I'd knock the living hell out of you." and George said, "Yeah, and if she didn't, I would." And Buck said, "Yeah, if he didn't, I would." And Farron said, "I don't think you'd have to worry about it. I think she would." And so that's after that, we were friends. He never said anything else to me.
Yeah, well, it seems like
that.
And Robin Young.
And he didn't say that to me, but
no, you know Robin Young, Farron's
I do,
son.
yeah.
He'll be on the program in a couple of weeks, and we'll be talking about some of his new recordings. He's got a new CD out and about his dad, and so I'm sure he'll have a lot more stories like this. But it seemed like Farron said that Farron said things to try to get a reaction purposely, like he was goading you. Like it seemed like in that situation.
He did. I wrote something else in my book, not putting Farron down, but they were just Farron, and a lot. They ended up being funny, kind of like that. But I certainly wasn't doing it to say anything bad. It was just things that happened, and they turned out to be funny.
Well,
but anyway, I only received one letter that was negative about that, and it was a woman in Chattanooga that was, I guess, a big fan of Farron's, and she didn't like something I'd written, and I told Farron about it. And he said, she should have known that you had to clean it up to even write it at all. So,
well,
no, Farron was a good friend.
Well,
we even played golf together.
Well, I know that you would often in later years go in and play golf with him, and you were one of the few people that he was still talking to when he was sort of secluding himself there in the end.
Yeah, I know it. I know it, and I hate that they wouldn't play one of the greatest voices in country music, but it's happening to everybody.
Well, have you heard he did some other recordings after this in the early '90s, a Christmas album, a live album, and an album with Ray Price. But his last solo material
I've
wasn't.
heard about it, but I haven't heard all of those.